It's all right. Let's-
The bumper's
the-
playing right now.
It's like a real thing.
I love it. It's when the person goes, shh.
And we're up. We're
Yes.
live. Daddy versus Doctor. My name is Sebastian Maniscalco. Dr. Scott Cohen. Welcome to our second live. We did this last week. Had a ball doing it. And we figured, let's do it again. So I know we got some chats already going. I got some topics I want to get into. One of the topics is dogs. We're in the market right now for a dog. And I want to know from you guys, from your
What
experiences,
dog should Sebastian get?
what dog I should get or what dogs are really good with kids.
They say, dogs look very much like their owners. So I'd like to know what dog you look like.
I don't know. I haven't not familiar with dogs or
Yeah.
breeds. Never had a dog, never owned a dog. So Lana has had dogs, so we're going to bring a dog into the house. Want to welcome everybody to the chat. What's up, Anna Conda from Sweden?
We got Japan, Sweden.
Yeah, wow. This is international.
This is great.
This is an international.
Charles, I agree with you. I've been telling him Yellow Lab. That's what I grew up with, Yellow Lab. Her name was Missy because when we adopted her previous owner had called her Sissy, which doesn't seem nice. And the adoption agency said, well, the pound where we got her said she responded we had to do something close to her name. So we had Missy for many years.
You bring up a great topic, hot topic, people. This could cause some controversy, go viral, what have you. You say adopt, rescue, whatever you want to call it. Apparently, living in Los Angeles, a lot of people go, it's a rescue.
Yeah.
They say that right from the get-go. And I necessarily
You
don't.
didn't touch your heart.
Oh, is that what you're supposed to do? And I'm sure you guys got opinions on this. I mean, why wouldn't you have an opinion? You're on YouTube at 3:30 in the afternoon, listening to two fathers in a dungeon. So people go, oh, if you get a purebred dog, you're looked upon, you're frowned upon as not whatever, adopting or what have you. So want to get your comments on that. I'll save mine for the discussion. But we had a thing about genetic testing, a question from Toscano, I believe, who entered the room early. And we see that it's coming in, Old English Bulldogs. We see all this Shiba Inu. Never heard of it.
Shiba Inu, oh, beautiful. They look like little wolves.
Oh, that's
They're
great.
great.
I don't think, listen,
Sorry, not wolves, foxes.
Oh.
Little fox. You've seen them. Yeah.
anything that looks like it could kill me, I ain't getting. Doberman, scared of them.
Yeah.
Had a bad experience with a
Yeah.
Doberman growing up. Pitbull, I know there's Pitbull lovers out there, but the name alone
Right.
should just scare you off. Pitbull. But I'm sure people, every Pitbull owner I know always says, "Oh no,
Right there.
they are the best
I know.
dogs." They scare the hell out of me.
Genetic
testing. What
Go
is it?
for it?
Tell me what it is. What is genetic testing?
Well, you're testing for possible genetic illnesses that could affect the person later on in life. So you hear about when women are pregnant, they go through genetic testing, whether it's amniocentesis, earlier on at high risk, get something called CVS, Corius villus sampling. And you can test for a myriad of different genetic testing. Now, we do this on every baby born in the United States. We do something called a newborn screen. So you probably remember this. After the baby's 24 hours of age, they take blood from their little heel prick, and it tests for things like low and high thyroid, so congenital hypothyroidism, hemoglobinopathies like sickle cell anemia, and a panel of over 30 genetic disorders: cystic fibrosis, congenital adrenal hyperplasia. So thankfully, we get the results back by 2.5 weeks to tell the parents everything's fine. The reason we do these tests on every baby born in the United States, it had to fit some criteria. And the most important criteria was that if any of these tests turn out positive, with a simple dietary change or medication, your child lives an absolutely normal life. But if these things weren't caught in a timely manner, they can be devastating. And a good example of this is congenital hypothyroidism. If you diagnose a baby and you start them on Synthroid, which they take every day for the rest of their life, Synthroid is the medication, then they live an absolutely normal life. But if you didn't pick it up in a timely manner, it would lead to severe developmental delay and other issues. So that's why you do genetic testing. And then especially if you know a family member has something, you know, you may be a carrier for something and your wife may be a carrier, which gives a certain percentage chance that your child has it. You genetic test to see if that's a possibility.
Okay, I mean, I don't know, guys. That's what you call higher education. All right, he wasn't prompted on the. It's not like he studied it before we got here. You just rattled that off the top of your head.
Yeah.
We go through this on the podcast. The difference between intelligent and smart, and over on the other side of the table, barely getting by
Different.
in college.
It's a different form of intelligence.
One David Thomas or Daniel Thomas says, can you explain why Sebastian's hands are double the thickness of regular hands? Now,
is that true?
I don't know. I apparently they're presenting as large, gigantic hands over here. But I'm glad that you're really learning a lot from genetic testing, and you're looking at my hands.
This is like when we had that caller call about growth hormone and short stature, and I talked for 30 minutes, and at the end she was like, Sebastian, your show was amazing. And I was like, yeah, it's fine.
The Dr. PJ is Dr. Scott Cohen. He's our family pediatrician. He's out here in Los Angeles, one of the top pediatricians in the country, and I could vouch for that because he's extremely knowledgeable. I mean,
that. Yeah.
they're still talking about dogs. This
I know,
guy just
it's
went on a rant, a 6.5 minute rant.
Do you remember? Well, let's go back to. Did you remember having a genetic testing
On our kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we had the newborn screen, but did Lana do anything? She's young.
Oh, you mean did Lana have it?
Yeah, genetic testing.
No, I don't know.
No.
Who knows?
They have to do blood work now. So.
I know. I didn't have it. They pulled me out of the hospital, and I barely got a diaper coming out of the hospital when I was.
There's blood work that can do a lot now.
So we are looking at dogs.
Yes.
Again, never had a dog growing up. Lana likes Labradoodles, just because they're cute. They're small. We're looking for something that's hypo.
It's like a Muppet.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Nothing wrong with that. My brother has one. He's great.
in your experience,
Yes.
first of all, I should ask: Did you ever have a dog?
We did. So we had a yellow lab, and then we had another dog after that. I grew up with dogs. I love dogs.
Okay, growing up with dogs,
Mhm.
did it teach you a responsibility? Were you in charge of taking it for a walk, feeding it,
Right.
cleaning up after it, or was that mainly taken care of
It was
by your parents?
it was supposed to teach us responsibility. We were supposed to do those things. I think it fell by the wayside. I remember that for years, my mom grew up afraid of dogs. So whenever we asked for a dog when we were kids, she goes, "No, I don't like dogs. We're never getting it." And then it turned into, if you behave, if you do X, Y, and Z, we'll get a dog. So after many years, we finally got a dog. And then the threats came, if you misbehave, we're going to get rid of the dog. And then after a couple years, it was, if you misbehave, we're getting rid of you because she liked the dog better than us. So it changes.
it didn't do anything for you, but for your kids,
Yeah.
did you see a change in them when it came to having a dog around the house?
Well, we have cats now.
Well, that's another thing.
I know.
I'm sorry.
But my wife came with the cat. So I had the choice of my wife and the cat or neither one.
So the cat's
So
been
I had
living
a-
for that
Well,
long?
our original cat came with my wife, and now we had two cats that we adopted.
Okay, why do you gotta
that's-
promote the
Great Cat Alliance is a great adoption agency in Los Angeles.
You're
Anyway, so
unbelievable.
yes, but we went in. The funny thing is that we went in. I didn't want any more cats. I'm a dog person. My wife is supposedly allergic to dogs. I've never seen this. And we went to finally get a cat right after the new year. We flew back from the East Coast to get the cat. The deal was we get one cat, and you know what they do when you go in to get the cat? They say, this cat's bonded with this cat in the cage. We really need you to take both cats. And so you end up taking both cats.
And you say no. I just
Right.
I want one, and I'm leaving if I don't.
So
get
I
one.
didn't want one. We came home with two. That's what happened.
Okay, all fun and games. Sheba had a mind of its own, hard to train. Get pet insurance. Illness came unexpectedly. Have 5 now. Dogs are best. We, as 9 years old, was our responsibility. No bending. Great growing up. Okay, so that's kind of the reason why I am promoting the dog here.
Yes.
I am lesson oriented when it
Chores.
comes to parenting.
Okay.
All right. So if I could teach the kid a lesson, and we did this last night with Serafina. Serafina, my daughter, 6 years old, wanted to play Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Didn't get the part. She got the witch. And she was a little disappointed that she got the witch, but she threw herself into the part. It ended up that she killed it. She knocked it out of the part, right?
She was amazing.
And I told her as a lesson, I said, you know what? You wanted something, but you got something else, and you made the best of it. And look at what happened. You were the star of the show. So I'm looking for these little moments in parenting. Now, dog, big responsibility, right? That's what they say. Oh, you get a dog, it's like having a kid. It's not. Right? All right? The dog ain't driving at 16 or doing heroin at 18. So it's not a kid. It is a responsibility, yes. You know, you definitely have to love the dog and care for it. But what I'm looking at this as for my kids, and we talked about it on the car ride to school. I said, all right, if we get a dog,
Okay.
Serafina, are you going to bathe it? She goes, yeah, I'm going to bathe it. And I said, Caruso, are you going to feed it? And he goes, no, I'm not going to feed it, but I'll take it out. You know, like, so I said, we have to give the responsibilities before the dog gets here, so everybody's on board, so they know what ends up going to happening is I'm going to be taking the damn thing out, right?
Right. You're
No
going
one's
to
gonna
wake
give a
up in the
shit.
middle of the night. You're going to train it.
Yeah.
You're going to do things. Because what's the repercussion when they don't? They're not going to.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel a dog will bring a lot of love to the house. Not that there's not a lot of love already, but it will just add another element to our family. I never grew up with a dog.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. 49 years, never had a dog. The only thing we were allowed to have was a parrot. We had two parakeets, Pasquale and Charlie.
Did you really?
Yeah. And
Pasquale.
Pasquale.
That's fabulous.
What a beautiful name
That's
for a bird.
amazing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Pasquale. And then just we had a mirror in the formal dining room that it would just fly into because they thought it was another room. And the thing was like his head was bleeding every week, right? So we had to keep the damn thing in the cage. German Shepherd. You know, if I get a German Shepherd, and I love your idea on the German Shepherd, Celia Rubio. Is it Rubio? No, it's Melly B. Melly B. Love the German Shepherd idea. However, if I go German Shepherd, I go get one of these guard dogs, right?
You're going police action.
Police. I want
Perimeter. You're going to have that thing going around the perimeter for you.
because I want some safety here at the house, and if I have one of these police dogs or whatever the hell they are, these like they're trained in Israel or whatever. They know another language, by the way. Did you hear this?
The German Shepherd?
These German Shepherds, they're like trained.
German?
No. Well, some of them know German. Some of them are trained in. I forget again. See, no retention. Let's say Swedish.
Okay.
They know how to speak Swedish. Is Swedish a language?
Say pet. Say pet.
Swedes speak Swedish, right? Swedish, yeah. So, yeah, German Shepherds can be tough. Yeah, they can be, and they could pin you up against a wall at 2:00 in the morning
Exactly.
if you're approaching the house. So that's the only reason I would get a German Shepherd. Too big for I think our situation, but
And you're thinking bringing in a puppy, right? Having it grow with the family.
having to grow with the family. However, thinking of, and I want you guys' take on this too, Siberian Husky rescued. We
Husky's
know you're
beautiful.
God bless you, Bonnie, for rescuing the Siberian Husky. No dogs growing up like two parakeets. At times are too much. Good.
But no, I was gonna say the pediatrician side, because I grew up with dogs and I love dogs, and still to this day I love dogs. The pediatrician side of me is always a little cautious because I see the other side of things. I see kids come in when a dog bites a hand, a cheek, something like that. So, you know, we tell families, even if your dog's Lassie, you got to be careful. You got to watch those interactions. I think bringing them up as a baby, so they're bringing up with the kids together, you know, usually those dogs are really good with, and there are different breeds that are better, obviously, than others. But you don't want kids to get lackadaisical. Even ones that have dogs, they often will go up to other dogs and sometimes get in their face or like, grab them by the mouth. Kids don't know. They think they're having fun with it. But if it's a dog you don't know, you know, they get upset. They can snap. You got to be
Yeah.
careful.
No, I agree. I mean, the last thing you want is an injury from a dog biting your head off. But growing up, the families I knew that had dogs, the dog wasn't and this family is from Chicago. I grew up with them.
Yeah.
And the dog lived in the garage. Right? Yeah, you hear that. But this is like normal back in the 80s. The dog was just like, all right, where's the dog? And no one knew where the dog was, right? It's in the garage, right? And it had a bark that sounded like it was smelling exhaust for 15 years. It was like...
But here's my question, because the opposite happens here, especially we live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
People bring their dogs everywhere. Some dogs fit in people's bags. Some people just... My brother, I love my brother and my sister-in-law. That dog is a family member in the sense of they go out to dinner, the dog comes. They can't go on vacation. They won't board the dog. Somebody comes and lives at their house with the dog, because it would be unfair to leave the dog alone. Even somebody to come visit the dog and feed the dog and bring the dog out during the day. Somebody lives with that dog.
Yeah.
Are you going to be that person that the dog, when we go out for coffee, the dog's coming with us?
No, I hope to God I'm not that person. But again, I have a wife, and
So the answer is absolutely.
we'd have to balance all this out. I'm not. Listen, I don't want to make the dog like. Again, growing up, I know a family that they went out of town for 3 days. They said, "Hey, can you come by, let the dog out of the house every once in a while?"
Yeah.
And they put down some newspapers. And you just like gave it some food, and then you left, right? It wasn't as like it is today, where the dog has become a focal point of people's lives. And I get it, there's pet people out there. I'm not a big pet guy, and it's probably going to change when I have a dog. Yeah. But the last 49 years, I'm like looking at these dogs going, really? You brought the dog to dinner? Yeah. And it's
I see you up on stage, dog's right there next to you.
Yeah, no.
Just surveying the audience.
No, I'm not.
Cujo, sit.
I'm not going to be
doing your whole act.
I'm not going to be that guy, hopefully. Yeah, dog in a bag, PJ. Exactly. Walking around with a dog like it's an accessory.
I could see you with a little backpack. Apple martini. What does that mean?
Yeah, I used to do this thing called Apple Martini. Apple Martini. He's quoting my act. He could care less about the dogs.
Quotations there.
My cat will scratch and bite us anytime. He's a punk. I get rid of the cat. Listen, if the cat is scratching the family members, we go to the cat. Listen, nice knowing you, but you're done.
Our cats have scratched up all our furniture, and that bothers me. Yeah. It bothers me because it's our furniture. I just have, and I shouldn't. My wife's like, it's just furniture, right? But why do we spend so much time and money getting the furniture if we don't care about the cat scratching the furniture?
Yeah, that's just
my question.
Well, here you bring up a great point. Your cat scratching the furniture, yet you not yelled at all. Yet you leave a dish in the sink, and
much less. I yelled at. Much less.
All right, guys, we're going here to the board here. Cats are evil, man. I agree. Listen, I am allergic to cats, so I have a huge problem with them because every time I'm around one, I can't breathe. I'm scratching my throat. This happened at your house. I can't even go to your house.
That's actually funny because it was probably our first time ever getting together. Sebastian and I had just become friends. He came over the house, and he had a show later that night. You were going to the Comedy Store later that night to practice some material.
Yeah.
We took the family. You came in the house briefly, and then we went out and got pizza. And while we're sitting having pizza outside on the street, I hear, and my wife's like, "Hey, Sebastian, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm like, I don't think you're fine.
Yeah.
I think you have an allergic reaction. We actually went to Rite Aid, and we got you an inhaler, and we got you steroids.
Yeah, it was.
And then you did your act, and you said it was the worst act you ever did.
It was terrible.
And we still became friends, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm not into the whole cat thing. Let me take some questions here. Hey, Sebastian, my mom and sisters have celiac disease. What would you do if you had that?
Do you know what celiac disease? Why they're asking that?
Is that?
Because you can't eat gluten.
Yeah.
So I assume that's a knock on being Italian and probably eating a lot of bread and pasta.
Yeah, well, I thought I had this, and I went and get tested, and there's an allergy question here as well.
Yeah.
Doctor, at what age should you get allergy tests? Can you
Okay.
develop allergies as you age?
Yeah, so the answer is yes, you can develop allergies at any age. Typically, when you're younger, allergies show up more as GI symptoms. So when you hear about babies being allergic to formula because the milk protein in formula, they usually outgrow that. And then as we introduce foods, food allergies can show up as, sometimes they can get hives. Sometimes they have GI manifestations of that. So you can get a child tested for allergies at any time. We'll do it sometimes around 6 months of age if we think they have a severe allergy to something or a strong family history of, let's say, anaphylaxis to peanut butter or something like that. We may want to get them tested before we introduce it. And then things like Zyrtec, are approved down to 6 months of age for allergies, for environmental allergies. But if it's not bothering the child, we usually do nothing until they're older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went in for the celiac test. I had a high sensitivity to, gluten products. I still eat them. I'll just deal with whatever comes with it. I mean, I'm not going to give up pasta and bread because
You can get gluten-free.
I got a rash on my ass. I'm eating it.
They make a lot of gluten-free stuff nowadays.
Yeah, but it tastes like
You're like,
it sucks. I mean, listen, I love these people that say, "Oh, the gluten free, it's not that bad." Anything gluten free, I could tell it's gluten free. And if I'm gonna have a pizza or a pasta or a bread,
Right.
it's gluten. It's gluten all day. I'm in Arizona. Is it true if allergic to bees, also allergic to scorpions? Is it true if?
I don't know that that's the case. Have you ever gotten a scorpion bite? We have scorpions here. The Arizona scorpions are really bad. They're big. The scorpions here are tiny, and they're no worse than like a bee sting. And I only know that because we used to live in the Hollywood Hills, and we used to get them in our foyer, like these little scorpions. And my daughter put her foot in her boot one day, and we just heard her scream, and we knew it. So I called poison control, and they said, no, you treat it like a bee sting.
Oh, really? Because we had one in our house, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
Actually, I was like,
They're scary looking.
No,
You're
it's
like,
frightening. I mean, cause it's frightening because the tail
Yeah.
comes like this, and I feel like that thing's ready to strike at any time. Just
Knowing it's not worse than a bee sting, I like to put a couple in your bed to see what you
bees I cannot stand.
Yeah.
Hornets, anything that stings. Because I was cutting lawn at 9 years old, and I ran over a hornet's nest in the ground. Right, so I ran over this thing,
after you.
and it was like an army of hornets came at us, and I was wearing a mask because I was allergic to grass. I still had to cut grass.
Wait, you're cutting grass and you're allergic to grass?
I was allergic to grass, ragweed, and dust growing up.
God, that must have been miserable.
Yeah. And in order to earn my keep at the house, I start a lawn service at 9.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, I don't care if you're allergic, get out there. Here's the mask. So I was cutting lawn with a mask
Wait,
on.
what kind of mask?
It was like a medical mask. So the dust wouldn't get in.
Oh my god.
Just similar to what they're doing now.
Date much, did you?
No,
I was with allergies and a mask.
Bro, I had a job at 9. Of course I was dating. I was fucking loaded. I had a knot. When I went up to school, I had a knot I pulled out at lunchtime. Dr. Scott, just curious, do you accept family? All right, let me go. I lost that. It's right above. Do you accept families who do not vaccinate? I have doctor friends who struggle with accepting patients who don't vaccinate. It's a vaccination question. I don't know if you want to get into this.
No, it's fine. Personally, our practice is a vaccine practice. We follow the recommendations for vaccine. I understand those beliefs, but we stay consistent across the board. So families who do alternative schedules or don't vaccinate, we usually ask to find somebody who follows those beliefs.
Very, very well said. Sebastian, I'm 46, but got my colonoscopy at 44. Have you done that test yet? And how much did you hate drinking that putrid liquid? Actually, to be honest with you, Love to Trade 2009.
The names are phenomenal.
Well, I mean, he's had that since 2009, right?
Right. Well,
so
mine
that's his moniker because he started trading stocks in 09. We just talked about this on
Yeah,
a previous show. We had a virtual, both of him, Dr.
Virtual colonoscopy.
virtual colonoscopy we had, and I had to drink that stuff. And I gotta be honest with you, I didn't mind drinking the stuff
Really?
because I knew it was flushing me out,
Yeah.
and I was gonna be lighter at the end of this damn thing. So I looked at it as a diuretic almost. I know people that freeze them. My mother-in-law freezes them.
Freezes what?
The powder.
The Miralax?
Yeah.
To do what with it?
And I think what they do is they put it in. They use it as ice cubes.
I'm never coming to Earth.
No,
Hey, you want some lemonade? You'll feel great afterwards. You're
This
in
is
the
what they-
bathroom.
I gotta find out why she was doing. She was doing it because she was going in for a colonoscopy.
Right.
So in order to do it, I think she put it in like water or whatnot, sucked on them. I don't know.
Impressive.
I
don't know.
I could be wrong. I don't know. My memory's shot. Hey Sebastian, you should do a show where you travel to countries that you've never been. Thanks, Mike. I would like to go international. It's just I haven't had the opportunity to. I've been in the Middle East performing, all over the Middle East actually. I've been to Australia, so I've been out of the country, but not recently.
Just go to different countries and cut lawn wearing a mask.
Why not? Why not?
I'd watch that.
Okay. Dr. Karen Becker, DVM, has a great book, Forever Dog. Yeah, we got that. Patricia McDonald, other end of leash book. Ian Dunbar, great dog behavior. Thank you for your recommendations. I will not be reading anything because, hey, I don't read anymore. Never did.
Book on
Shit. Our identical twin boys just turned 1. I'm just wondering if you have any ideas for some ethical tests I could start doing on my boys for science. LOL. Ethical, of course. What does that mean?
I don't know. What kind of ethical tests do you want to do on your child?
I don't even know what that
What
is.
are we testing?
Well, do you know what that is?
No, I mean she's just testing one versus the other. Who would steal the cookie from the cookie jar? Those type of tests.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't know.
I don't know.
I didn't know those existed. Would you recommend? What do you recommend for kids with restless leg syndrome?
I don't know that I've ever seen somebody truly with restless leg syndrome.
Well, what is that? Is that
fits-
just where the legs just tapping?
Where you move, you see commercials for it. It's where you move around, your legs constantly moving at night. I mean, there is a true condition. I don't think it's very common. I've never seen it in a child. You have to fit certain criteria. You would see a neurologist for it and discuss it, but I don't have any experience with it.
So 20 years of practice, Dr. Cohen hasn't seen
it
it.
doesn't
So you
mean-
know what that means? Don't exist.
No, it exists.
Sebastian, have you ever done a show for firefighters, police, and EMs? It seems like EMS. Seems like no one does shows for public safety, only military. I have actually. I have done a police show in Chicago. This was about maybe 7-8 years ago. I did a show for the police, and I don't know if I've done for firefighters, but it's not something that
You're
I'm opposed to
against.
doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love police, firefighter, pro military as well. My father was in the Army for 2 years.
Yeah.
Was a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had said, I was a sharpshooter in the Army. I go, well, you didn't go to war, and he goes, yeah, I know, but like in the practice, apparently he got sharpshooter status. Never picked anybody off, just a couple of cans. Talking about problems with memory, I'm like you, Sebastian, and maybe Dr. Cohen could give us advice to improve cognition and memory. Now, I want to ask you, I know you're a pediatrician, but this kind of goes into another realm of it all. I feel as I grow older, it's harder to recall stuff. For example, and I don't know if you guys are dealing with this as well, those of you who are 40, 50, 60. Someone goes, okay, just call this phone number, 847-681-4242, whatever. And I go, whoa, slow down. Let me take this in threes, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was 21, I used to phone number. I used to memorize the phone number, right?
Right.
Now it's like, if people are, I say, could you spell that? I have trouble following them as they spell out whatever it is they're spelling out over the phone. Am I coming down with a severe disease?
Early Alzheimer's.
Or is this
No.
49? This is
just
the problem I'm
49.
having, people. How I'm feeling right now.
Right.
Is it 49
Yeah.
or is it a problem?
No, I don't think it's a problem. I think you're 49. I think you're,
I know,
doing,
like,
and you're probably doing better than most.
I get out of bed. I feel like I wake my wife up with the sounds that are coming out of my knees. You know what I'm saying? Like
your bicep
everything.
and everything's
hurts.
falling on you. But I think with our memory, I find myself playing more games with it. Like I'm really, for the medical knowledge that I have and that I can retain, I can't remember people's names.
Yeah.
So then I find like when somebody introduces themselves, well, usually I have my wife like remind, like, oh, who is that? But then also I find myself playing like, that's Jim. All right, Jim was a guy I went to high school with. Like I have to make a whole thing in my story. The story's longer than if I just remember Jim, but that's how I remember it.
Yeah. I ain't doing any of that.
You're just like, forget it.
Any advice on child still wetting the bed at 7 years old? John Jay.
There you
Actually, went
go.
to John Jay Elementary School back in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Serafina's still wetting the bed.
Yep.
At 6.
Yep.
Could you please explain to our listening
John
audience
Jay.
not why you've been telling me not to be concerned?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, in general, nighttime wetting in a child that's potty trained during the day, we do not worry about. If you're trained during the day, the nighttime is a brain bladder connection. So it's really hard to train somebody at nighttime. Before 6 years of age, we make no interventions because it's actually considered normal. You could limit fluid. You could have them pee before bed. You could wake them up. You could do all these things. And under the age of 6, if they're still wetting, they're probably still going to wet. So there's no reason to try things that aren't really going to help you. After 6, you can try those things. We talk about behavioral modification. The easiest ones are going to the bathroom before bed and limiting fluid after dinner, and you could try to wake them up in the middle of the night. Honestly, they're not better than a 50-50 shot, so you can try them if you want, and it may get you there faster. In general, 100% of the time, a child who's dry during the day will eventually become dry at night. It's just when everything connects. It's also, John Jay, a very big genetic component, so you can blame either yourself or your significant other, whoever was a long-time bedwetter. It usually came from that side. But in all seriousness, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of timing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there is, like when kids get older, we talked about like kids go to sleepaway camp, kids go to sleepovers, and they become self-conscious. There is medication they can take, but that medication is literally just a Band-Aid for that night. And as soon as you stop it, if you're going to wet, you're still going to wet. So we find other ways to do it. And if they need the medicine, we can do that as well.
All right. Sebastian Doc, my son at the age of 5 is still in bed from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Is it fair to expect a 5-year-old to be in bed for 11? I see no problem with
you're
that.
so lucky.
God,
I'd never be upset
that
about too
was
much sleep.
Unbelievable.
10 plus hours would be fabulous.
Yeah, I had no concern there.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey guys, this is from Giancarlo Olvera. We have one 18-month-old and I'm thinking about being one and done. I'm 41, she's 36. Any benefit for our daughter to have siblings, or is she okay with friends, cousins? Can I chime in here?
Yeah, please.
Listen, bro, get another one. All right? Just get another one. I have seen an amazing bond between Serafina and Caruso. They're so close in age, right? They're 2 years apart. My sister and I were 5 years apart, and we're close, but I didn't have that growing up. And what I find is with a lot of single, and you could speak to this, single, if you have a single kid in the house, right? That kid tends to be alone, no one to play with, no one to get up in the morning with, have breakfast with. It's just, I think you're doing a disservice to your kid if you don't have a sibling for them to love and share. That's just my opinion, Giancarlo. Whip it out tonight and get that going. Heather Dockweiler, my sister-in-law, is on I Blame Sebastian. I know she's always chiming in, and she's just like that's Heather. That's Heather. You know Heather. Heather, Lana's sister.
Oh, hey Heather.
Heather Dockweiler.
Wait, Heather. I thought you wanted to ask a question about.
She's not in the other room. Why are you screaming?
Oh.
Talking loud.
Heather wanted to ask a question about swallowing pills. Heather, why don't you write your question about swallowing pills?
So yeah, we were talking about swallowing.
Am I yelling? Heather?
we were talking about swallowing
Yeah.
pills. I had no idea
This
people
was a thing.
have
Heather brought this up to me.
yeah. So kids have problems swallowing pills.
Yeah, a lot of adults. Your mother has problems
Yeah,
swallowing pills.
I've just found that out
Yeah,
last
I
month. I
know.
go, Ma, 77 years old, and she still can't knock down a couple pills.
Did you have problems swallowing pills?
Not at all. You know what? I've taken down so many supplements at once.
Yeah.
I took down like eight supplements. Right.
I mean, now you're just bragging.
Well,
Yeah.
listen. And then I burped up supplement like powder came out of my mouth. This happened at a restaurant, by the way.
Why are you taking supplements at a restaurant? Are you one of those guys that take out the boxes and pull the tabs Tuesday?
No.
Chop it down?
I had them in my pocket. I just threw them down like some almonds, just right down the throat. Belched up, like sawdust came out. Anyway,
You got any techniques for kids? Because like my daughter, that girl, she loves oysters. She'll down oysters like no. You give her something the size of those little Advils. I can't do it, Dad. I can't do it. It's unbelievable.
so
I'm like,
is there a method? Is there something?
yeah.
people
What,
could
does
be
anybody got
doing?
any good? Heather, anybody have any good ways to get kids to swallow? I tell her just like you put it in your mouth and you take a big swig and you just swallow and pretend it's not there. But it's mental. And in her mind, she just thinks about it and she just can't do it. She spits it out every time.
Yeah. So I never heard of it. No one has any problem swallowing pills here.
Heather, how do you teach a child to take pills? What's our audience say? Does anybody have any good ways of doing it?
No, we're looking. Why
tennis
not wear a
elbow.
headset? Doesn't holding the mic cause tennis elbow or something after a few hours? Big fan though. Again, talking about swallowing pills, and you're worried about it. You know why I'm doing this? Because
Oh, there. See, how did you get your daughter to try oysters? She just loves seafood. She just started eating oysters. She loves oysters.
all right, there you have
Do you
it.
eat oysters?
Put a pill on the oyster, and
No.
it goes down.
See, that's why you put something in something very thick, like a pudding or a yogurt, and you just try to take it one
And swallow it
scoop.
back.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm 42. I never was able to swallow a pill. Thanks,
Yeah.
Melly.
Lean forward and drink. That
Yogurt,
seems harder.
yogurt,
You gotta
honey,
shoot
jam.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Or I put the pill in my mouth and constantly drink water until it goes down.
Yeah, knock your head back so gravity throws the pill back for your throat. See, these are good.
Just out of curiosity, how many people are on this thing? I need to know what what is it? The concurrent.
Currently 201, overall 1356.
Okay, I just want to see. Yeah, we're not really getting. Yeah, we're not. We can't. Then. Put it in juice. Yeah, a lot of different
Yeah,
methods
a lot
here
of
up
different
on the
methods.
chat board. But I got no problem with it. Yeah, let's get out a toy, a game. Sometimes what we do on the show is we review a toy, we eat a snack, and we ask the viewing audience to chime in. What do we have here? This is
Yeah, right
the
up your
game.
alley.
Box of jokes. Fun time fun. Fun time fun.
Fun time. Fun.
8 classic fun time jokes. All right, so this is like, and here's a question for you, and I don't even know if you know the answer. A lot of the jokes at this age that my kids are at,
Right.
3, 4, 5, 6, are all about farting,
Yeah.
pooping.
Fart, poop, those are funny words. And most adults would laugh at it too. When did you know you were funny?
I knew I was funny when at a young age. I just always liked making my family laugh, not necessarily other people outside the family, but my family. So I knew at a young age that I had an ability to make people laugh, but not until I'd say, I don't know. Well, what are you doing? Oh, is that even? Is that supposed to go on the bottom? Take it out.
Or just go on the top? I don't think it matters. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's a top thing. Oh. The game don't even work. So this is Whoopie Toot.
So,
Fuck this. I can't get this thing going. What's that?
I don't know. It's spring loaded. I didn't know what it was gonna do. If it was gonna pop at you or like grab my finger.
Okay, see the problem with the
Spring
games
loaded
already.
finger.
The problem with the games already, nothing works.
Oh, here.
And
let's see what it's supposed to
and
be.
you got to read the instructions. I don't read instructions. I open the box.
It's
dangerous.
Hey, no, it says
dangerous.
it's spring loaded. It's supposed to
Spring loaded.
fly off your finger like that.
And take your eye
Fly
out.
off your finger.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wh-
That's
wh-
why. And look at it's like a bloody finger.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be like, oh, I got my finger caught in the door, and then that happens.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it almost took my eye out. This
Yeah.
is for 6 and above.
Oh, disgusting.
Fake vomit.
Fake vomit. So, who would buy this for their child? The
Okay.
floaty eyeball?
You guys into this? Your parents at home?
Oh, you're
Doggy do.
Caruso would like that.
Bad dog. Bad doggy.
true.
Bad doggy. So yeah, these would, I think, resonate with my kids. I think, you know what? With all the toys these kids have nowadays, with all the what is that?
Yeah, it's supposed to like vibrate, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have.
These
what
are
it
frightening.
vibrates.
These
These
are
are like
frightening.
medieval comedy devices.
Yeah, this is like vaudevillian. You know, the simple things, I think, are the best games.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
What was everybody's favorite toy growing up? Like, what did you play growing up? I mean, Candyland was a big one. Monopoly, Life. You remember the game of Life?
I played Battleship.
Really?
Remember that game where you had the boats?
I
and you had to
remember.
Put the pegs
Yeah, you was talking about I had Life. Life I liked because there's a part of it where you get married, and then you got to sort of say who your crush was. That's how we played
Yeah, but
Life.
Yeah, but this is 6 and over. You're
Yeah.
talking 10,
Monopoly. Did you ever play
12.
Monopoly?
Yeah.
The problem with Monopoly is it never ends.
Yeah.
Like there's no ending to it. Clue. Clue is a big game.
We didn't play a lot of board
No
games.
board
growing
games.
up.
We played a lot of board games. What'd you
Lana's
play?
family, that's all they do around Christmas time.
Yeah.
I would love to get the take. Quick question from Michael John, though. Daddy Doc, what is your take on homeschooling for public education? Fan of the cast. Homeschooling versus public education. Do you have a take on that?
I mean, I think it's a big personal preference. You know, I always, when you go to school, there's a social component of that I think is often lacking when you're homeschooled. If you have a homeschool regimen, you just have to make sure that there's an ability for the child to have those social interactions with other kids and other activities.
Here's my question.
And who's going to do it? Could you imagine homeschooling your kids?
If I homeschooled my kids,
No chance.
My kids would grow up not getting into high school.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to think, and I'm amazed by some of these parents that like teach their
It's
kids
impressive how they could do it.
curriculum. I'm teaching my kids like what to do with cash. You know, like
Do they do that when they're
no, I say
take
hold it up by your
out,
arm.
They go like that and then drop the bills down. Yes.
I'm teaching my kids like life lessons,
Yeah.
like how you save money, what you do to get money. They got chores. They're doing stuff around the house.
Right.
They're cleaning the dishes. When it comes to science, math, and reading and comprehension, they got to go elsewhere for that. I mean, I mean, I could do the basics.
Yeah.
But Clue and Battleship, Twister.
Twister.
You didn't have that
You
game.
didn't play that with your family? I could see you and your parents playing.
Yeah,
Twister.
my Italian father buying a Twister game was
My
fucking
back.
perverted. Even like card game. I was never a big game guy. Getting back to the games,
Yeah.
board games. Lana's family, they love it. Holidays, oh, let's whip out like that, and then they got to go around and like, do you know how to play? Do you know how to play? And then, oh no, I don't. How do you play? And then you're fucking, I don't listen. You know, I just like, let's play it and I'll figure it out based on how everybody
one
else is
free
doing it.
round and move
Yeah.
on. That's it.
When do you start allowance, or do you only give your kids money for chores? This is coming from DT Daniel Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
So I started at a young age. Serafina was 3 years old, and I said, "Make your bed," and it's been consistent. She's 6 now. Every morning, bed made. They clean their dishes. They take their dishes from the table to the dish to the sink. Do they wash them every time? No, that's not been implemented as a chore. But the allowance for them is, here's $2 at the end of the week. And I said, you could do anything you want with the money. I recommend you spend one and you save one.
Oh,
or
good.
give one away to someone, or you save it. And then we go to the candy store if they want to spend their $1. And they see how much candy they could get for $1. And I tell them, you want more candy?
Yeah.
You got to work double as hard as you did last week to
So
get
do you
more
stick
candy.
to it? Like if it's $1.50, they only have $1. You pitch in an extra 50 cents, or are you good with it?
No, so they weigh the candy.
Yeah,
It's $1.87. I said, we got to take some away. We don't have enough money for that.
you're good.
So they're trying. I'm trying to instill in
Better
them.
parent than me. No, because you started early, and I think that's really important. Starting early with age-appropriate chores, because as you get old, the younger you are, you can always find something. Just pick up your clothes and put them next to the washer and dryer. Put your dishes in the sink. Then you can move on to harder things, taking the trash out, stuff like that. But I think doing it early and having that repetition, then there's an expectation when all of a sudden you're like, they're 15, you're like, do it. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, it can't be foreign to them,
Right.
as they grow older. At 15 or 16, if they go cut the lawn, cut the lawn. We got a guy cutting the lawn right now. I cut the lawn growing up, and yeah, I'm living in a different an economic bracket than I was growing up. But I'm nervous because a lot of these things, we have a guy that comes and cuts the lawn. Now, do I get rid of that guy and say, Caruso, get out there
Right.
and start running lines on the grass? Yeah, you could do that. Or cut the tree. Bro, I'm not kidding. I was 12, 13 years old, hedging the ficus in the yard, trimming, hedge. I was doing all this stuff, and I felt like by doing that gave me the tools that I needed moving forward to know that, hey, you got to work to.
No, it's good. I
Right?
expect some Disney characters in your bushes. Then you should be out there.
Disney characters.
You know how they shape them at Disney?
Oh,
things
no,
like with
no.
the. That's what you're just saying.
Yeah,
Where
no,
you already lost it.
How did you
you,
weave Disney characters into my yard?
Did you ever play video games growing up, or what's your take on video game time?
So
Yeah, go.
I grew up with Pong.
Uh-huh.
All right, moved to Atari.
Yeah.
And-
Atari 2600, I remember it.
I don't even think it was a 2600 model.
No?
This was the original Atari.
Okay.
Which was it 2600?
I thought it was the black yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought the 2600 was like an
Was it?
upgrade on the
It could have been.
graphics.
All right.
I could be wrong. After that,
Somebody will clarify.
we didn't have Nintendo. We didn't have Intellivision. We didn't have Sega. Any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what's your take on video games? When should a kid play them? Is there an age? Where are we at?
I mean, you want to hold off as long as possible. I mean, we say with screen time in general, we've talked about, after the age of 2, eliminating to an hour a day, which also seems like an awful lot because they should be doing other things.
Mhm.
And then, we've talked about as parents giving a little more leeway on the weekends. I think the problem with video games nowadays is there's a lot of interconnectivity, which can be good if you know who you're playing with. So playing with family or friends, even that are not directly in your house, but being careful because a lot of people play like Roblox and Minecraft, and those games anybody can ask to be your friend. So my daughter had like 50 friends on Roblox. Like, you have 50 friends? So we went down the names. She didn't know any of them. She was just she was just accepting them. That's really scary. That's when I was up all night taking a deep dive in Roblox and trying to figure out the settings. And the problem with those games is the security settings are set up. You can't disable them because then you can't play with anybody, and they're only playing to play with their friends. So that's the scary part. So understanding like proper etiquette playing these video games, and I think it should be homework, activity, and then the extra is the video games. That has to be the last thing.
Yeah, I'm a little frightened by the video games. We've limited screen time to the weekends here.
Yeah.
They get to watch TV on Saturday and Sunday, whether it be a movie or what have you. But during the week, there's none of that. I think, and I give credit to my wife Lana. arts and crafts is huge at the house. They're constantly doing glue and silly putty, or what's that, the slime, and making stuff. So I think if you keep the kids off the screen time, it just, I see a kid on a screen and they look like they're so warped out, you know.
Like
and
an
it's-
adult on the screen. I know.
Even adult, even like these adults. I'm sorry if anybody out there is a gamer and they have their own chair. I always thought like if you're a male in your 50s and you have a gaming chair and you have a headset, that would be reason for divorce. I mean, and you lose everything. But
But I think you're right with both TV screen time and video games. The biggest problem I see is kids' behaviors around it. Once they get used to it and they get it, when they don't get it, they're the kids on the floor like flipping out, screaming, and it's really hard to bring it back.
Yeah. Shea Bay, I remember the TV shutting off. I also remember how the knob used to fall off the TV. Yeah,
we had 4
those were the
stations,
days.
4, 5, 7, 9, and 20 if the bunny ears could make it. That's all we had growing up.
Yeah, no, I remember when Fox first came out and Living Color was on Fox, and we were like, oh my God, Fox, because we didn't have cable either. We didn't have HBO or any of that. Here's a Michael. Me and my sister have played a game called Gardenscapes for 7 years now, and we are on level 13,500. Would you have the patience to play that long? I don't know what's going on at your house, Mike, but you got to either take up cooking or maybe go cut the grass. I don't know. Level 13,500. Like, to me, that it even goes up that high when they were making the game. Right? They had a meeting and they said, all right, how many levels we want to do? And one guy said, you know, there's some people out there.
We're going to be playing for 7 years.
We maybe 20,000 levels sound good. Yeah, let's do it. Unbelievable that you're doing that. What? God bless you, man. I mean, if that's what you love to do, that's what you love to do. But I would think with the amount of time that you've played this game, Gardenscapes, whatever the hell that is, that you would had an invention by now, right? Like you think Elon Musk is sitting there playing Gardenscapes?
No,
for
he
13,000.
probably invented Gardenscapes.
I played Gordon Ramsay Dash for 3 years now. Susan. All right. Well, Susan, good for you. Maybe Michael's a prep cook. Well, is anything getting made? I'm kidding. It's a comedy show. Sebastian, Dr. Cohen, what was your favorite TV cartoons? Red Flintstone.
The Flintstones.
Okay. Tom and Jerry. He-Man.
Okay.
And is there a fourth one? No.
Well, yeah.
What do you
I watched
got?
a lot of He-Man. I remember watching a lot of Smurfs.
Yeah.
Half of them bothered me, but I watched it. Gummy Bears, I mentioned Saturday morning Gummy Bears.
That was about the extent of it.
Yeah. Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
Scooby-Doo. I wasn't that big into Scooby-Doo.
And G.I. Joe. I like G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, didn't watch any of that. We got Daniel Thomas, another, what new cooking skills would you like to learn? New? Wouldn't mind learning how to cook with that gastronomy, doing that dried ice, the smoke, whatever they do with it. I wouldn't mind fiddling around with that.
Make a barbecue potato chip out of air.
Yeah, something like, oh my God, what is that? Thomas Wingrove, when I was a child, I was diagnosed with epilepsy, was on meds. At some point, stopped the meds, now 34, haven't had a seizure in probably 20 years. Is it possible to grow out of epilepsy?
Yeah, it's possible to grow out of seizure disorders. And often kids are on medication. They'll say if like you're 2 years seizure free, they'll start trying to wean you off. So there are different types of seizure disorders, and it is possible to outgrow them.
Wow, yeah. I had no idea. Good feathers with 3 Italian pigeons.
What does that mean?
No clue. Is that a cartoon?
I don't know. Super Friends in the Justice League. I do remember that. Aquaman, Superman. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Ooh, Thundercats. Whoa.
Captain Caveman, Hanna-Barbera.
Jetsons. Think about the Jetsons. We're doing all that stuff now.
Yeah,
Talking on our watch.
true.
We don't live in the clouds.
Give this another try. Still don't work. What's up, Paint Bro, Colorado from Schaumburg? I just grew up in Arlington Heights. Shout out to you. I have a question, and this is something that's been kind of bothering Lana and I when it comes to child rearing.
Okay.
Serafina, heavily into piano, loves pianos. Don't have to ask her to practice. She just does it on her own. She's doing this little theater, this little plays. She was just in The Wizard of Oz, played the witch, absolutely killed it. She's also in gymnastics, and she's not gravitating towards it as she is the other things. Lana, selfishly, wants to keep her in gymnastics because Lana was a gymnast, and she feels that kids need some sport in their life. You as a doctor, do you advise to force kids to do things that they're not liking? What's your take on?
That's a good question. I think early on you try a lot of different things that they may think that they're not interested, because the only way you know is try. I think we've talked about this. I think if you commit to something, you finish it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you force it if they absolutely hate it. I mean, we went through the same thing. Both my girls were in ballet for years. My wife was a ballet dancer. I know she was hoping one of the two girls would be a ballet dancer. They both, after several years, hated it and didn't want to do it. One turned to soccer and the other one's into music and theater and like that. And now it's funny because now my music theater daughter, Lexi, who's 13, is now getting a little bit back into dance, and she's a beautiful dancer. And I was like, if she had just done it for the last 10 years, she would be amazing. But I just think it's hard to force them in something they absolutely dislike when there's so many other things that they could try that maybe they would like.
Yeah, so we're wrestling with that at the house, and Lana's a little bit more lenient when they go, and she go pick up Serafina right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's got gymnastics after school.
Yeah.
So when I take Serafina and I pick her up from school and we're going to gymnastics, there seems to be no problem.
We're going to gymnastics. Right.
She goes, I'm tired. I said, I don't care if you're tired. We're going. And we forget about it.
Right.
With Lana, I think just because she's a little bit more lenient and a little bit more easily persuaded, that she's like, I don't know, she was tired. And I said, I don't know. It seems like she's not tired when I go take her. I'm not saying that I'm doing anything different. I just feel like sometimes a father.
Well, kids know who they can play.
Yeah, I feel like I've established that daddy is
Dominance.
Dominance.
Sebastian dominance.
What's up, Ant? Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Daddy versus Doctor. For those of you that are new to the show, what we do is we get together once a week. We talk out different topics that have to do with pediatrics, behavior, child rearing, what have you. We play games like like this. What is this? Joke box.
What is it? We don't know.
Did I bring a cheese plate to gymnastics? What Daniel is referring to is what I often do is I bring a little snack for the parents.
Do you really?
At soccer, there's a lot of whispering going on.
Hey, you really brought it for the parents?
Yeah. So what I've done is I brought a cheese plate to soccer practice.
Okay.
And I brought with wine, boxed wine.
Wow.
Right to the field. Man, with plastic.
People are gonna like you.
Cups. I mean,
yeah.
I'm like, and then the next week, no one brought nothing, and I'm like, come on, like,
right? You got to keep it going. No, because there is one mom on the soccer team who always brings Saturday morning. She'll bring like margaritas or something. Everybody loves her.
I'm not looking to get loved. What I'm looking to do is we're all in this together. We had to fight traffic, and you get there, right? And how nice is it to have a little brie with some Sauvignon Blanc at 4:30 on a Tuesday?
Speaking of Daddy snack, so what are these?
These are crunchy roasted edamame beans.
Do you like edamame?
I do. But like, anything, and again, I'm not.
Wow, a little spicy. It's got some sriracha. Woo. No, those are good, but they're spicy. I think there should be a lot of kids wouldn't be a little spicy for the kids.
Yeah, it's an adult snack.
Mm-hmm. Adult snack.
You can't throw spice on these snacks and give it to a 5-year-old. Right?
No.
Very few 5-year-olds are into any type of flavoring, spiciness, what have you.
Very salty.
And these are dry. What's wrong with going to get some edamame from your local grocery store?
Yeah, like real edamame.
Pop in the beans in a bowl, lightly salt,
Yep.
and you have it as a little snack. This is the problem I got with snacks. Heather's chiming in again. Dr. Scott, what's the deal with too much edamame soybeans?
Not concerned. People are worried about too much soy causing early puberty, breast development, things like that. Soy you eat, you're digesting. It's different than estrogen in your body. So having soy in your diet, people drink soy milk. Babies are on soy formulas. Some people are vegetarian or vegan, do soy as a major source of their protein. I'm absolutely fine with it.
So there is a rumor out there that soy is
People are
causing...
worried that if you have too much soy, it can cause hormonal issues.
Okay.
I'm not worried about that.
Dr. Cohen is not worried about soy, and he's right. I have a question. This is a question to the group, and I'm dealing with this in my own home. Snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a snack. The meals are, but my wife went to go pick up the kids. As soon as they get in the car, snack. I want a snack. Yet they had 2 snacks at the school already. I'm from the school. We ain't having a snack. You're saving it for dinner, right? Mm-hmm. They get home. They get dinner. They don't like the dinner. So where does this end?
I agree. When did it start?
What?
When did we go from like everywhere we went, we brought food? You go on an airplane, we would have one carry-on bag of just food. I'm like, honey, we're in the airport. There's stores we can buy stuff. There's stuff on the plane. Well, just in case. What if? She was usually right. What if we're stuck? What if we're delayed? What if the kids don't like what it's there? We got to have our own. But I agree. I think we need to focus on the main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We need to focus on being active in between, which limits a lot of the snacking because then you don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying no snacks, but you're right. Kids learn very early on, I'm going to skip lunch. An hour later, I'm going to go to the pantry and get goldfish or crackers. Mm-hmm. And his parents were like, well, they didn't eat. At least they're eating something. And they know. And we saw a lot of this with increased weight gain during COVID because we were much more sedentary. We weren't out and, doing the activities we normally do, socializing, being in school. And I know personally, you're sitting around the house, every time you're hungry, you just walk to the pantry and get it. But now I'm at work all day, I don't have the chance to do that. And this is what happened with kids since then, being in school, being active. It makes a difference, and it's healthier for the kids.
Yeah. Too. No, it's getting out of hand.
Anybody from doing it.
I want to know why you deleted a comment. What came in and moving on. I just like to see the controversy. Talk about biggest pet peeve. When it comes to kids, biggest pet peeve?
What's your biggest pet peeve?
With
their parents.
Yeah, I think it's with the parents. Some say, "Oh, he's just a kid."
Yeah,
you can't be mad at the kid. You gotta be mad at the parent. I don't necessarily agree with that. I look at some kids and go, "Wow, you're a problem." Yeah. I don't know if you see that a lot. I don't know how you do what you do because you're seeing kids all day long, and you'll never say this to me. I know you won't, but I'm going to say it for you. There's got to be kids that come into your office. You're like, oh God, this kid, I got to deal with this kid. This kid, no hi, no nothing. Give me this, give me that. Right? There's these kids out there, and if you got one, keep them inside because we don't want to see them. It's ridiculous what these parents are doing with these kids. These parents, I've noticed, are kowtowing to every demand. Parenting people is a 24/7 job, 7 days a week. You can't let up, right? You got to be consistently on them, right? Yeah. And if you're not, they start to stray.
Right.
And next thing you know, you're calling the police at midnight going, where is...
Here's my new. It's a transient pet peeve. And I love hearing kids talk. I want to hear everything they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, a couple times during sick visits, kids come in specifically for fever, cough, cold, vomiting. And the child will be like 2.5 or 3. And I'll walk in and say, what's going on? And the parent will turn to the child and say, Johnny, why don't you tell the doctor? The kid's like 2.5.
Oh yeah, I love this.
The history from the 2.5-year-old is not going to be the history that I want. And I love your child and I'm happy to hear. But the point of this visit is to get you in and out as quick as possible and like heal things and fix things. I want the parent is the one should give the history at that age.
Yeah, I'm not.
Does that sound horrible to say?
No,
I feel bad saying it, but it's comes up.
It's the same thing when we're at a restaurant and they're gonna order the food and they turn to the kid and go, "What do you want to eat?" And the kid could barely say, got 4 words.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
And then we got to sit there and then I've done that as a waiter. I've waited on tables where there's a family and then they go to the 2-year-old and what do you want? He went, I don't and then I got to go, what? What do you want? And tell him again. I'm like, oh God, I'm buried. I got 9 tables. I'm in the weeds because the 2-year-old is he can't speak. Judith Rubio. At what age should you teach your kids about restaurant etiquette? Here, tipping, use proper utensils. Love the podcast. Greetings from Canada. Great question, Judith. And I got to tell you, I told Lana, she's like, let's take the kids out to dinner. I said, well, my kids are not restaurant ready on a lot of restaurants, right?
Right.
There's certain restaurants where we could go, they could sit, maybe.
And your kids are very well behaved.
Well, thanks, but sometimes at the restaurant it gets a little hairy because Caruso bouncing off the walls. He doesn't, like he's done coloring and now he wants to sit on a lap or he wants to go over there. It's just a lot of like moving parts.
I got it.
But my kids know about tipping.
Do they?
Yeah. What I've done with them is first, and I'm not bragging here. I'm just telling you what I'm doing.
No, it's excellent.
Go to the grocery store, right?
Taking notes.
We go to the grocery store. We just went to the grocery store over the weekend. I've taught my kids to pay for the groceries. Okay. Not out of their own money, but I give them the money. Mm-hmm. And I said, we got to wait for the total, right? And this is a great way to teach math, right? Bill was whatever, $98. I said, here's $100. You give them $100, and then how much do we expect back? Right. And I try, and $100 and 98 is a little hard to do for a 4-year-old, but like I'm just going through the motions. Well, my son's caught on, and he goes, when we get the change back, you take the coins. I'll take the paper.
Smart, right?
Jesus Christ.
You may be the only one going to the grocery store and paying with cash.
Well,
I think it's the issue.
To whip out a knot at the grocery store.
With the celery band?
I went to the grocery store today. I paid in cash, right? And the bill was, what was it? $140. I paid $200. And she goes...
She asked Caruso, how much change did I give you?
Well, change now. People get like, you give cash to people now, it's like kryptonite, right? They don't even know what to do with it.
And coins, forget about it.
Oh, forget it.
Coins, no matter, you might as well just throw them in the trash. Nobody has coins in their pocket.
Again, I was talking about coins. I was taught, my dad said, keep some loose change, right? keep some loose change. Just you could make exact money just in case they don't have the money, right? Yeah. There's like, and I got some change in my pocket every once in a while. But the woman's like, man, you got anything smaller? What the fuck? Did they give you a bank in the beginning? She's like, I'm going to have to give you all 10s. I'm like, all right, whatever. Give me all 10s. But anyway, teaching your kids to pay, tip, what have you. Teaching them that nothing is free in life. Yeah. There's an exchange happening. Right. For us to get the food, you have to. And then what I do is I get on one knee. I get on one knee in the parking lot before we get in the car, and I go, when Daddy gets on a plane and leaves for 4 days, and he says he's gonna miss you and what have you, I'm going away so we could eat, right? So they put the two together. I don't know if it's working. We'll see.
It's very impressive.
It's a lesson.
It's also secondhand. It becomes secondhand nature.
Secondhand nature,
and the math is really good. Yeah, I was doing when my daughter was a little older. I had want her to calculate the tip. At restaurants and things like that. Like, how do we do that?
Yeah.
What you get.
I think that's great. I think that's great. Anytime you could do it, I think that's great.
What age do you think a child should feel empowered to talk to their doctor or describe what they're feeling instead of a parent taking charge? Honestly, every child's a little different, but definitely like, we start asking questions to kids at 4 and 5. They can answer questions. I don't think they're the greatest storytellers with open-ended, like, how are you feeling? But you can ask them, oh, does your throat hurt? Oh, does your belly hurt? And start using their history with the parents in conjunction with each other. Yeah.
Ryan Paris, you're gonna shed a tear when Caruso tips his first 100. He's already done it, and it was a beautiful moment. Beautiful moment. This Daniel Thomas, I don't know who the hell this guy is. He's throwing questions. I don't know if it's AI or what, but he did a whipping out. You're not in the grocery store. Get you arrested where I live. Oh, is that funny, bro? Oh my God, that's good. So yeah, this has been great. It's been these lives for us.
Yeah, this is great. And send more questions about your kids' health. We can get into everything. Pop
culture, whatever it is. We love doing these lives. It's the Daddy versus Doctor podcast. This is Dr. Scott Cohen. It's our family's pediatrician. Right here in Los Angeles, and we get together once a week and we talk about all things parenting, all things kids, all things tipping. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.